All right, so I have a Polaris 6x6 500 Big Boss. Shifter stuck in reverse. So I'm planning on taking the linkage off and opening this up and check out the rods inside, see if there's a broken spring. Otherwise, I'm guessing inside the transmission, there's a spring that's stuck. Well, with a 10mm wrench, get this one out. I'm not sure if it's the low one or if this is the high one. I'm guessing that's the high one. This one will angle down, this one's angling up. I'll take that one off next. Anyways, so it goes all the way back to this top one. Yet that's still connected. Let's move to the other one. I'm hoping that's the problem. So this is different than what I've seen online. It seemed like the other ones online, they said a little case you could pop off here and fix the spring, but mine seems to be in a different orientation. And also you need 2 wrenches. I have a 10mm on top. I didn't have another one, so I have 3/8 kind of holding. You can see it. It's got a flat spot right here. Keep it from turning because this is a ball joint. So I got the 2 rods off. It appears it's just the shifter. Luckily it's not the transmission. I don't get enough force on that, but these rods should be going in and out. So hopefully this gets some Allen wrenches, knock those top off, get this out, get these 2 cleaned up, check the springs and the rod that goes down the middle, and there's little ball checks, and put a little, I think it's transmission fluid, I can't remember what you stick down in there, just enough to cover up these 2 rods. But I'm thinking that's it. And then the cabling goes up to the neutral reverse lights. So hopefully it'll be a quick fix. All right, so I got the 5 Allen bolts off the head of this shifter. And it comes out like this. So I'm just put some gasket on there. But yeah, not much to it. Set that aside. And you can see there's some electronics in there for the forward and reverse light. There's 2 springs. There's another little spring here. There's a basket. I wasn't aware I was going to see that. And some fluid. So I probably have to get transmission fluid. I'm not sure what goes in there. I have to look that up. But working at getting at these 2 pins. They're locked up. And I'll show you what that looks like later. Well, I poured what was in there. Left in there, in here. I don't know if you can see it. Cloudy crap. Probably water. I don't even know. It's not correct stuff though. I slid the reverse neutral switch out. Just lifted up on it. And I get this basket out. Here's the switch. It's orientation. It's like that. It just plunges. Doesn't go up, just goes in. So I'll take that basket out. This little spring goes right down this hole here. And again, these 2 big springs are up here. So I'm gonna remove this basket. Get it over there. I'm gonna pull these 2 out. The left one's moving, the right one's not. And there should be 2 rubber seals on those. If they're bad, you can replace them, but this definitely needs to get cleaned out. As you can see, it's pretty rough shape. But yeah, the one closest to me was moving. Can't do it with the phone videotaping, but the back one's definitely stuck. So I got a little more fluid out, and some gunk came out with it. But I got the big pin out. Sorry. These 2 ball things go there. The big pig goes down there. This guy's free to move. Can't do it with one hand. This one's frozen, but I'm trying to get it out. It should come out now with that pin removed. Yeah, and there's another little chunk. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's broken. But it might be from that other one that's not moving. It might also be what's freezing it up. Here's the two shifting slides, the 3 notches on the right, 2 notches on the left. Try to show this, but that pin sits in between here, goes back and forth along that rod. This one is much shorter. It goes along that same area. It might be this. I don't think it's this part though, but see the little rubber seal? Mine seem to be okay, but there's one on each one. This is the left. Depends how you're looking at it. This is, I mean, left. This is the right. There's that stem that goes down there, and the ball checks, and the little spring. 2 big springs go on top of the ball checks, and those just slide in there. You gotta turn them a little bit to pull them out. I don't remember which direction. I think I turned them both towards the center, and then they came out pretty easy. So yeah, get all that crap out of there. Should be back in business. Turns out in the bottom, you probably can't see it, but there's a little space at the end of those rods. There's a swivel, or a V that's either being forward or high or low. Well, there's a pin that goes between it. That chunk that was missing was part of that pin. So that's probably why you couldn't have high. You have to have high or low, you couldn't have both. So that might fix my problem for everything. And it's a pretty common part, this shifter. So imagine, I should be able to find that pretty easy. So yeah, just that little pin down in there caused a lot of problems, unless I have more problems in the gear case, but I imagine this is most of it why I was stuck, because that little chunk was pried in there somewhere. Well, I cleaned it up with some carb cleaner. It's ended a little bit on one of the shafts because it was a little rough. Looped it up with some PV blaster. Got the shafts in there properly. There's a little butterfly V in the center. I had to order a new pin because it was broken half. I don't have it over here, but I do. It's right here. So that was what was broken and binding up my shifter from going back into a different gear. We'll see. Just in the process of getting the Allen bolts back in. It's kind of a bear. Gotta squeeze it and try to do that all at once. I only have 1 Allen wrench out of my 8 million Allen wrenches that fit the heads of those. But I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Got the electrical reverse and neutral switch back in there. The basket, I filled it up with ATF transmission fluid just above the rods, shafts. No more than that. And I'll be back. I also put some Permatex Ultra Black gasket maker, oil resistant, to seal this up. I'll mount it and see if it shifts. All right, so I use 11 millimeter. There's 3 bolts on here, 2 on the wheel well. Hold your shifter on. There's a little pin that goes into the ball here for electronics for reverse and neutral. 5 Allen bolts on this one. See, a lot of them have hex nuts on top, but this one doesn't. So low, it's on the far side, neutral, high, low, neutral. So it's working again. So the far, this is your low, this is your high, and your reverse. Low, neutral, high, reverse, neutral. So this one here, is your low, which ends up being this front one. Your higher and reverse of this other guy. So I'll show that after I get them hooked up. All right, so I got it all back together. I did a little minor adjustment here for the high reverse. Spun this back hex nut back and then turned the head out just one turn, tighten it back up. So I gotta test drive it before I put it all back together to see if that's working. It was grinding going into high. Low was always working. As you can see, the back one, oops. Back one is low, front one is high. They push this way towards the rear when you go into high or low, and then it goes forward, neutral, when it's reversed. So my issue with this whole thing was that there's a little butterfly V that toggles back and forth between the two to lock them from, so you can use them high or low at the same time. The pin that was resting between it, that it floats on, was busted in half. I have that. Let's try to test it. Oh, here it is. This little guy. It's in 2 pieces. It broke. It was like 14 bucks off eBay. If you look at the parts diagram for this machine for $19.99, Polaris 500 Big Boss, you can find it there. Other than that, I just sanded these up a little bit with some fine sandpaper. Looks like I had 320 grit. This is wrapped around a bolt, not these bolts, a different bolt that was almost the same size, so it was the right thickness. And plunged these 2 shafts. I also used pipe cleaner brushes to clean up the 2 spring holes and knock anything else that was out in there. Cleaned it out really good. There's a lot of gunk in there. Put some new gasket on it. I probably showed it in the other video, but it's the Ultra Black Permatex gasket maker, oil resistant. Like that was important because I have filled it up, not all the way, just to the top of the shafts with this ATF transmission fluid. So that's what's in there. And like I said before, there's three bolts that hold it on. 2 more up here. 1, 2. That's how that goes on. Then these wires run up. So the light's up here. My reverse light's not working, but my neutral one, maybe someday I'll get a new bulb for that one. But just gotta learn what's all wrong with this machine as I go. But yeah, just to show you these back shift mechanisms. I always thought this one was supposed to be on the, this one is supposed to be facing the opposite on this side, but that's just different machines. So I'll show you how they work. This is neutral, this is low, low, high. I had that all wrong. This is low, low, high, reverse, reverse, high, neutral, low. So that's how that works. Continue on with my video as I work on this thing. It's just a quick video on how your shifter works on a 1999 Polaris 500 Big Boss 6x6. So here's your linkage back here. Here's your shifter. Neutral. High. That's high. The front one. the right. Reverse, high. It's the opposite way you think. If you put it in reverse, it goes forward. Put it in high, it goes backwards. Neutral, low will be the back one. Pushes it backwards. If you need to adjust these, just spin, loosen this nut up and spin this head either out or in. If you hear a little bit of grinding, that goes for both of them. The shifter has the electronic reverse and neutral light that appear here. And it's just a pin that goes in and out. Really basic circuitry. There you go.